Miami Beach's Hispanic history began long before Castro's Cuban Revolution in 1959. In fact, Cubans had been coming to Florida since the Cuban Revolution for independence from Spain, which began over 150 years ago. Cuba's political turmoil started in 1868 when an unsuccessful uprising led by Cuban-born planters and wealthy natives began the island's long fight for independence from Spain. Florida has been a hub for exile activity. In 1933, former Cuban President Mario Garcia Menocal lived in a stone mansion on Collins Avenue and Lincoln Road, where he plotted with other exiles to overthrow the Machado government. A wave of Cubans came to Miami and Miami Beach during the Great Depression of the 1930s. As bad as the economy was, wealthy Americans still came to vacation on Miami Beach, providing jobs in the hotels and restaurants. After World War II, the U.S. economy recovered and things started humming again. Cubans from Havana flocked to Miami Beach during the summers when hotel rates were low. In the summer of 1948, 40,000 Cubans came as tourists to Miami and Miami Beach. Newsweek magazine called it the Cuban tourist season. Signs saying "Se habla español," Spanish spoken here, began to appear in store windows.
On January 2nd, 1959, the rebel army entered Havana.
Castro had triumphed, Batista had fled, and Cuba had a new government.
In 1959, another Cuban revolution took place, with Fidel Castro taking control of the country. Popular at first, Castro soon aligned himself with communism. Tens of thousands of Cubans fled the country. Many parents loaded their children onto planes provided by the Miami Catholic Archdiocese in what was called Operation Pedro Pan. They wanted to avoid their children being influenced by what they perceived as godless communism. Castro lasted longer than anticipated, trapping the parents on the island without permission to leave. Some families were separated for years. In Operation Pedro Pan, not just Catholics, but Protestant and Jewish children came too. By 1960, much of Cuba's professional and middle class had left. Many believed the U.S. would depose Castro and their stay in the U.S. would be short. Some Cuban businessmen had enough capital to open businesses here. Professionals like doctors and lawyers couldn't practice without undergoing long and expensive recertification. With families to feed, they got whatever jobs they could.
My father was a prominent lawyer in Cuba. He had been against the Batista government, and within 8 days of Castro taking over, he was against Castro. So within a year and a half, he had been arrested 3 times, and finally, the last time they released him, a good friend of him that was in the government says, "You got to leave. Next time you ain't coming out." He went from being an attorney, and the first job that he could get in Miami was being a boss boy at the Playboy Club.
In 1980, a group of Cubans desperate to leave the island invaded the Peruvian embassy in Havana. Within days, the embassy was overwhelmed with people seeking asylum as a way out of their country. Scoffing at the negative image of thousands of Cubans trying to escape, Fidel Castro decided to allow what he called the scum to leave. This precipitated a massive exodus of 120,000 people, including many released prisoners and mentally ill. They left by the port of Mariel, where hundreds of Miami exiles had gathered in borrowed boats to pick up family members waiting at the docks. All were Miami bound. The city did not know what to do with the sudden influx. Those without family, many of them criminals, were put in low-income housing on Miami Beach. The resulting crime wave is still talked about.
It became commonplace in South Florida. Shots are fired, people are killed, and much of the time the killers are people who came over from Cuba in the boat lift of 1980.
Because of rampant crime, tourism to the beach took a beating. The dark edginess of Miami Beach attracted television producer Michael Mann. He decided to set his new television series in the rundown, crime-prone area of South Beach. Miami Vice became a hit. The show's hipster detectives were Caucasian, Black, and Hispanic, facing off against cocaine cowboys. The neon-lit Art Deco street scenes attracted worldwide attention. South Beach became famous as a fashion shoot and sparked a renaissance of urban renewal and investment opportunities. Celebrities started discovering South Beach and bought homes and businesses, which attracted more of the rich and famous icons like Madonna and Giovanni Versace. Miami Beach was becoming an international urban resort. Tourism comes with a price, often creating tension between the needs of business owners relying on tourism and residents who want good schools for their kids, quiet neighborhoods, and on-street parking. The city of Miami Beach became the home of many Hispanic performers: Gloria Estefan, Ricky Martin, Jennifer Lopez, Mark Anthony, and John Cicada. The Miami Sound Machine, the band formed by Gloria and Emilio Estefan, caused a sensation in the music world. The Estefans made Miami Beach their home. Other artists followed suit. Cubans continued coming after the Mariel exodus. They had seen how short a distance there was between Cuba and Florida. They came by small boats and even built rafts from salvaged materials, inner tubes, whatever they could find, and set off on the treacherous 90-mile journey. Many did not make it.
Air One, they just had a wave take them out.
But enough did that it encouraged others to keep trying. Miami Beach has become a cultural melting pot and safe haven. This reputation attracted Venezuelan theater director Michel Hausman. He left Venezuela because of persecution under the Hugo Chavez regime.
There was a boycott to one of our shows, and then another show we were attacked with tear gas. Not pretty, but it really made me understand that I could not stay in my country and do the work I want to do.
Today's Miami Beach is cosmopolitan. Spanish is spoken in a number of different accents. Portuguese with a Brazilian accent can also be heard. The music wafting from the sidewalk cafes and restaurants ranges from salsa to samba. Visitors and residents can get a Cuban sandwich or an Argentinian steak. The city has made a remarkable metamorphosis from its founding by wealthy white people from the Midwest and the Northeast, then a kosher city full of Eastern European Holocaust survivors and Jewish families, to an international city of artists, performers, and preservationists from Latin America and the Caribbean who have transformed Miami Beach into the international resort it is today.